Good afternoon in El Salvador. Good evening in London. It's almost 10 p.m. in London and almost 3 p.m. in El Salvador. I'm here right now in sunny El Salvador. It's quite beautiful outside. I can't show you. I'd have to move my camera actually. Maybe I can. Let me see. Let's see if I can do this. Can you see? Maybe not. Anyway, I tried to show you. So anyway, let me readjust my laptop again. Make sure everything is all set up. I'm going to start the stream in about 3 minutes. I'm going to have a look at Bitcoin, and the order flow and the price action, and then I'm going to have a look at TRVL. I'm going to look at the monthly candles on different charts, including Bitcoin and TRVL, and I will also do an altcoin analysis. I'm going to try and do a more thorough analysis today, not so much of a rush, but you never know, I might rush depending on if I get exhausted in 2 minutes or something, and then might have a look at some of the charts, just kind of out of curiosity to look at the monthly candles. We have a monthly close today. We have the weekly close today. We have a daily close today. It's an extremely close at the end of today. So that's in about 3 hours. The candles will all close. And so naturally, we have to look at everything in much more detail today. And that's very important. So let us start with Bitcoin. I've got rid of all of the analysis from before. I hide the volume so we have a relatively speaking clean chart. And first things first, I'm going to go to the monthly candles because we have a monthly close tonight. And right now, it's looking like a rejection, isn't it? It's looking like a rejection from the all-time high. The volume is basically on average with the last 3 months, slightly above average 4 and 5 months prior. We've got quite a lot of volume coming down here, selling pressure. What does that mean? And the price is basically closing within the previous month candle. Technically, it's an inside candle of the previous month. Technically, it is closing in the lower half of the previous month, potentially, assuming that it closed where we closed today now. But it's always possible to get an end of daily close pump, and so naturally, we have to see how this candle closes in about 3 hours. You see that here on the ticker, it says 3 hours. So this candle closing in 3 hours, we have to see how it closes. It's hard to know exactly what it means until we get that final close. I have talked about the closes in the past, and effectively, I think that a close above this red wick on the month of December 24, I think a close like that would be okay. I think that would be quite a bullish close, even though in the context of this current month, it's closing lower than the previous, potentially than the previous month high, than the 50% mark of this green month body. So in that sense, it's bearish. So it's a bearish candle. Bears are in control. It's a swing failure of the all-time highs, or rather a failed auction, or in this candle, it's a swing failure. But potentially you've got a higher low forming like that and closing above this red candle horizontal level, which is the previous all-time high. For me, it suggests that you've got selling pressure, you've got bears in control, but they failed to take it below the initial previous all-time high. I would consider that bullish, even though we've got a clear rejection of the all-time high there with volume. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right now in Bitcoin. let's have a look at the 2-month candle. Now, this one also closes in just under 3 hours. This one is slightly more bearish than the monthly candle. If it closes like this, it's bearish in the sense that, again, it's a swing failure of the previous month high. But it is a green candle. That means bulls are in control. It is increasing volume. That is healthy. Increasing volume, increasing prices. But when you get an increase in volume at the all-time high, such a big selling tail, you've got the bulls in control of that candle, and then basically the bulls have only managed to take it up maybe $1,000. It's not a convincing bull victory, but at the same time, you have increasing volume, which is bullish. And even though it's got such a large selling tail, it's closing above the 2 monthly close, open rather. And so it is possible the next month actually still goes up. Next candle goes up. It is possible. And that's kind of probably the most likely scenario. Here you can see the 3-month candle. We've got a month left. And we're coming back to test lower levels. But really, this is the candle that matters, the monthly candle. Could it just sell off now and dump? Yeah, it always could. You know, it could. It's more likely to go up before it comes down, but it could. And this is the weekly candle. Now, this one, I would argue, is pretty miserably bearish because you're closing, assuming it closes here, it's closing lower than the previous week low. But again, we're potentially closing above this pivot high, above some kind of SR horizontal flip that exists on that previous all-time high. And actually, when you look at the weekly time frame, you are noticing a pattern. The pattern is you have decreasing prices, decreasing volume. I would consider that to be weak sell pressure. So bullish sell pressure in the sense that the volume is decreasing and it's not a convincing sell. It's not increasing volume where you got more and more people selling, trying to get out. It's less and less people selling as the price drops. So I would actually consider that bullish, not bearish. And so we have to see how the weekly closes. It would be nice actually if we get a little end of week rally to close above maybe the previous week low, and then we'd have a really surely we'd have a quite bullish weekly close. Right now it's still bearish in the sense that it's a lower close, so you might need a week or two for this to play out before Bitcoin decides to do what it needs to do next. But again, for me, as long as we are above this pivot high with a horizontal SR flip, then I would think, or I would imagine that this goes up first rather than down. Let's have a look at the daily chart. And yesterday was 2 days ago. We got pretty high sell pressure. That was on Friday. It was a bearish engulfing, closed lower. Yesterday we have a little daily swing failure, and now we're getting a little kind of consolidation. It kind of looks bearish, right? It kind of looks a little bit bearish. We haven't got much buy pressure right now. We've got a big sell drop. But let's see how we close. Yeah, let's see how we close. That's really important. The close is really important. It's just pretty low volume, isn't it? You can see the volume is really dropped off significantly. Yeah, pretty low volume. So after the Friday sell-off, there's not much volume at all, is there? All right. So I think that's the candles. We'll see. We'll come back and monitor it to see how the daily and the weekly and the monthly. But it's a really important close. You've got the weekly close, you've got the monthly close, you've got the 2 monthly close, and you've got the daily close. Got really important close, and you've got the 3-day close. And actually, looking at the 3-day candle, this is not a bad close. If we close higher than the previous 3-day candle, that's a really nice close. It means that Bitcoin has failed to close lower and could indicate into some kind of horizontal support level, could indicate some kind of reversal about to happen. All right. So that's kind of the candles on Bitcoin. And now I'm going to have a look at a little bit more detail. I'm going to first kind of calculate and consider the volume. I've got the lower range volume, got the higher range volume, and what I do every time, as I've always said, is I kind of redraw these volume levels to see if there are any significant changes. We've come down pretty lower into kind of this previous range here, so potentially we have to kind of expand the volume range a little bit to capture that data. And then if we capture it to there, we might as well capture it to there, and then basically we might as well catch the whole range. So I think the local range is now fixed at this higher point, probably where it was to there to there. And then you've got the higher range, which is this one. And again, you see the point of control is in the higher of this local range. The value area low is slightly higher. The high volume node is still there. You got two highly volume nodes. You see that? This first one was completely washed. It kind of hit and bounced and then it went down and cleared it. Kind of slightly back above it now, actually. So that's interesting to see whether we're trying to find some strength here and reflip this high volume node back into support. But ideally what you want for bullish volume here is we want the point of control of this range, which is currently there, this thick red line. We want this to reprint lower down than this range. I think that would be really healthy, really bullish for Bitcoin, for the volume to go back into the lows of this higher range. So we've drawn out the volume levels as we do, and then what I want to do is just go over the higher time frame levels, because we have a new monthly candle. It's going to be red, and therefore we have new higher time frame levels, starting with the monthly. As you can see, I've already added it because I assumed that it would have been a red monthly. So that's good. I've already got that, and we've got this monthly below us. We go to the weeklies. We've got this weekly level there, this weekly level there. So we've got 3 weekly levels to contend with, for the price to contend with. And then we're looking at daily levels. And at the moment, the one that we're currently at, we're finding support, but it's getting really washed. Yeah, it's getting really washed, cleaned of liquidity, and we've clearly gone through it a couple of times. This current day, we've actually respecting it nicely. So it is actually acting as support, as you can see, on the current day's daily candle. So there is a potential for reversal here, as long as that daily level holds as support. It is holding a support now. It's washed through twice, but today it's holding a support. This one has just been completely washed, so I just ignore it. It was not respected at all. Then you got a new one there, and then you have a new one there, and anything over here, there, and then you got that weekly and daily there. So that's your daily levels, your weekly levels, your monthly levels. If you combine that with the volume, then you have these red lines, and as you can see, we're into some lines here. And then the only other thing I'm going to do is, let's see, let me do one other thing. I'm going to draw the volume from this pivot low here. Just, this is kind of like the uptrend volume. Slightly different value profile, value area profile. Yeah. So that value area low is actually a really good place for a long, and it's slightly above the daily level. So let me just consider that for a second. I'll do it accurately from that pivot low to the all-time high. And then the only other thing that I'm going to do is take it from this pivot low to the all-time high. And effectively what you have are all your liquidity lines. The only other things that I can add here would be some naked points of control and some single prints. So let me just do that now. I'm going to hide these and I'll bring them back. You've got the single prints there. And to calculate the single prints, I need to go into the order flow. I'm going to have a look at Exo chart, and I'm going to have a look at the different profiles here that I have. Let me just refresh it because every time I come back to Exo, it lags out. Let's start with the sessions. See if there's any. There's a big buying tail there, but are there any single prints in the sessions? Not that I can see. Let's go to the order flow. Oh, what's that? There was a single print, was there? Let's go to this chart. Selling tail, single prints. Single prints. That held this as support. I probably have it. I'm going to write it down anyway. I'll have to check. I'll have to check that. And then I'm going to look at the levels, the MPOX. We've already hit yesterday's daily naked point of control. So above us, it's 117640. I think I have that. And if we can zoom out a little bit, maybe we can capture more data or not, depending on how this loads. Let's give it a second. It's still loading. Right. So the next MPOC is 101920. 101920. I've got it already. This one is now gone. And clear that. And then only above us, the nearest one is, the only one actually above us is 117680. Yep, we have it. Oh, that CME gap looks like it's still there. We haven't filled it yet. I'm going to have a look at that on the Bitcoin chart of the CME chart. Let's have a look at that. This is the one, CME. So there's still a gap there, close, and then it opened lower. And we closed lower. We closed at 108.265. Potentially we haven't, that's, yeah, 108.265. So 108.265. I'm going to mark that down. $108.265. Okay, so that's our CME. And then let's go back to the MPOX. RH, alaikum salam. Long time no see. Where have you been? Let me have a look at the weekly naked points of control. Okay, slightly above us, 114838. One one four eight zero zero, and then we also have, what's that one? 114800, and that's 117800. Oh, you were stuck with some issues. Sorry about that. And let's have a look at the monthly to see where the monthly point of control will be, the naked monthly point of control. And obviously there's one below us, which I think I've already marked out. And the current point of control is basically 111322. We have to wait for the monthly candle to close to see that. Okay. So we have the monthly there. So let me just now, once I've got the single prints, did I mark them out? This is clearly gone now. And that one, oh, deleted the wrong line. That one is gone. And 113725. 113. Yep, I've got that. It's higher up. Don't need to mark that again. And we've got the CME as well. Okay. So I think we've got all the data for the updated. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the volume back. I'm going to higher time frame levels back. We have the single prints. We have the naked points of control. And then we also have our fib levels. Okay. And effectively where you've got all these ginormous lines, you've got massive resistance, massive resistance. If we go back up there, look at those lines. And right now we're kind of trying to get back above this high volume node. We're trying to flip it back into support. We hit the lower high volume node. There might be a CME gap below us. We've bounced nicely off the 618. But we haven't gone down to test the value area low yet. But what I'm noticing is there's massive resistance from 116800 through to 118200. There's massive resistance there. And what would be interesting to see is if Bitcoin does go back up, and that would also be the golden pocket. It's a really crazy short, to be honest with you. If and when the price of Bitcoin does manage to get up there, that is a fuck off short, a motherfucking crazy short to be had. There's just so much confluence there for an easy rejection. Effectively, you're looking for some kind of lower high, and that's where you would see it. It might be front run because it's such a strong place to short. And then potentially you'd be seeing a head and shoulders, could be seeing a head and shoulders pattern here. Something to think about. I don't see us breaking up until we can break this kind of downward trend line. If I can draw it, which I usually can, but sometimes it's tricky. Which trend line do you take? Maybe this is first pivot. There. So I think I want to see that trend line break. We've hit nicely the 6-1. I'd like us to lose it and reclaim it, personally. And we're kind of in this situation, aren't we? We kind of came to the 618. We bounced. See that? See that? I kind of marked it out. Look, we kind of came into the 618. I also have a long lower down if we into a lower 618 golden pocket into the value area low. It just depends where the price finds support, and we won't really know until we kind of break this out of trend line if and when support has been found. Yeah, so potentially we could go down. It might not go down all the way to there, because it is possible that when we go down to retest these lows, that you just get a higher low there and break out, and that's it. It's possible just for a slightly higher low, just to hit that 618 another time, and then pump to the moon. It's kind of food for thought right now with Bitcoin. We have this harmonic in play. Again, the pivot point is somewhere around Tuesday, and it doesn't have to go that low. You can just come to there, kind of wherever really, but this is the kind of area. Tuesday is the mark, Tuesday evening, to see how this kind of bottoms here, and then we have a chance to rally, pump all the way up to 118, potentially another $10,000 on Bitcoin. So I'm keeping an eye on this cipher to see how this kind of plays out, but we're in the right place, right time potentially for another big move. And if the move is more bullish, then it will just slice through liquidity up above as if it was nothing. All right, so that in a gist is Bitcoin, and it's looking a bit messy, but effectively we're looking to short high areas of confluence for resistance, and as you can see on this chart, there's a shit ton of resistance somewhere around there. And for buying, we're looking for effectively POMO. Right, I'm a bit exhausted because I haven't had much sleep last night. That being said, I'm going to have a look at me beloved token, or maybe not. It's up 5% today. Wow. Who doesn't like a good old portion of TRVL to brighten the mind and the soul? So again, we're going to have a look at these candles. We have a 3-month candle, which is closing in a month's time. We have a 2-month candle. This for me is starting to look like a reversal. Look at that volume on that 2-month candle. It's bellissimo. It's excellent. And we've got these candles starting to form nicely. Let's have a look at the monthly. We had the monthly piercing, and this is a continuation. This is really nice, actually. Increasing volume, increasing prices. And on the weekly time frame, it's still looking good. It looks like it just is kind of grinding up now, and hopefully we can get some kind of future breakout or break to the upside. Could be a double bottom with a measured move target of around 3 cents. That's still where I am with my idea of our target on TRVL effectively. And it's quite interesting because on the daily time frame, do you see what happened? The price took out the lows with a swing failure. Bearish candle closed lower, but the next candle, it was decreasing volume, and today we had a really nice volume buy up. This is at the moment, if this holds like this, it's looking like a really nice reversal here for continuation to our 1.168 target for a healthy payday. All right, just looking at these there's not much to report except potentially that we have broken out of this line. Is it there, or is it there? Or is it there? Yeah. This is looking good, actually. This is looking really good. Wow, look at that. See that? It came almost to the level and then bounced off it. And then you've got this anchored VWAP. Look, we lost it. We reclaimed it. We back tested it. We're above it. This is looking really bullish now. Yesterday there was a little bit of danger, but the price dropped and it was brought back. And effectively what you've got is really strong bullish price action here. The volume is good. We're back above the point of control of the local range. We're going back into the value area high. We're coming off that downward trend line. But, you know, if Bitcoin can bottom or have a little pump, maybe at the end of the day, then a lot of these altcoins could potentially pump or pop. But ideally, you really want everything to happen on Monday, New York session, really. All right. Enough commentary. More work. I'm so exhausted. But it is what it is. Fixed range. Where? Here? What do you think? RH is asking me, am I in El Salvador? Yes, I am. So this is looking like a bullish engulfing, huh? Today. If this is closes like this. That weekly, I think, is good. It's a sell. The volume is quite high and it doesn't really go anywhere. The price doesn't go anywhere. And obviously on the monthly time, we've got a mega bullish reversal happening. I'd say this is actually really bullish, to be honest with you. It's looking bullish to me. And so every dip is a buying opportunity, and dips happen a lot. But I think this is good, actually. I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking this looks okay. All right. Let's have a look at the D-Travel Telegram to see if there's anything interesting. Whale buy listings, whale buy. And here they're just trying to organize, motivate themselves for going on Coinbase instead of, I don't know, something else like Binance or whatever applications are there that are useful out there. Yeah, I don't think you remember my face. I don't think so. So anyway, this is the Telegram. Lots of things happening here. I'm onboarding El Salvador, as I've already talked about. A little bit of spam here. Here, Andrea posts an update. She says, last week we did a thing. We can't wait to show you tomorrow. So tomorrow something's happening. Also expect more listings in the SEA territory where markets and a lot of crypto entrepreneurs are migrating to. Turned on my notifications for your next video, Beard Prince. Thank you so much. I hope you're here watching me. If not, then why not? And here Emmanuel Levy responds to me. What was his question? He asks, is it possible to see periodic charts instead of the cumulative ones, number of bookings for each month instead of the total of all past months? And that's in relation to the real world data link that I keep on sharing here. And can you see it month on month? Well, I think you can, because you can just calculate. You'd have to go back and calculate to see the difference. That's the only way. And then this data, the operator silence and these listings, again, you'd have to go back month by month and see how they increment upwards. Otherwise, there's no other way to do that. Not that I can see. And I will find out. Right now, I can't see it the way you want it, potentially. You'd have to calculate it month by month, you see, and just remove the values from each other to calculate the month-on-month growth or the month-on-month average. I'm not going to do it for you, but it can be. I think it can be done. And I think that's all of the questions. Let's have a look at the volume, this local range. So look, we've come above the point of control of this local range. We're into the value area high of this local range. This is bullish. You've got a little deviation from the lows there. That's really nice to see. And the point of control is not in the highs of the range. It's kind of in the lower part of this higher range. I'm actually starting to feel really bullish about TRVL. I mean, not that I was never not bullish, was I? But for me, this is looking like consolidation underneath resistance. I feel like something is about to happen. We're about to break in a very strong way, possibly to the upside. And if you go back to my original inverse head and shoulders analysis, you'll see that actually, look, you see I asked for TRVL to come back down to this area and be tested. And that wick is your test. We have had the test. You see that? So it's quite interesting that I potentially called that. And now we're looking to form the right shoulder. And it looks like it wants to form really nicely here. Potentially looking at a daily bullish engulfing candle today with increasing volume. And hopefully we can have a nice head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders breakout in next month. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now in terms of TRVL. Is there anything else that I can quickly have a look at? Again, this anchored VWAP, which I talked about yesterday, it felt like we were losing it, but look at that. Look at how amazing this anchored VWAP is. So if people haven't drawn this anchored VWAP, I'm using the combined chart and I'm going to paste that code into the chat, so anyone who wants to can cut and paste that into TradingView. RH is saying that audio is even better. Well, that's because I've got the microphone right here in front of my face and I'm speaking straight into it. So that's what I learned to improve the audio. If you see what I've done, I've taken the anchored VWAP from the pivot high here that was a rejection on the 13th of Friday the 13th of December. Look at that. You can't get more spooky or superstitious than that. That was when D-Travel rejected from that pivot high and crashed like there was no tomorrow. But look at the anchored VWAP from that pivot high on Friday the 13th. We have come up to nearly get above it and come back down. And now we haven't been able to close underneath it. That is looking really bullish, isn't it? It's holding a support. I said it was holding a support, but yesterday it looked like, or 2 days it looked like it was potentially collapsing. But actually, when you look at it now, it looks really good. It looks like it was never going to close underneath the anchored VWAP. Let me just pull this range pull here, and you can see, look, we have a really nice back test of the value area high. Look at that, back test of the value area high, back test of that anchored VWAP from the Friday the 13th pivot high in 2024. This looks like a back test. It looks like the value area high has held as support. That means this whole value area is now support. And with a bullish engulfing, what I'm expecting now is a really nice pumpity pump to break to the upside and hopefully hit our target at 3 cents. If I look at some of these patterns, let me see if I see any. Let me see if it tells me. So according to this, we're in some kind of rectangle and also potentially into some kind of double bottom here. It's giving us a pretty similar target for both of them at 2 cents. Here, you see that? 2 cents. So that's quite interesting because that would only put us 100% from where we are. And I wanted more, huh? I'm not saying that I'm greedy, but I wanted more. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's interesting. It's all interesting. Just have a look at these things. The one other thing that I haven't looked at in a while are CCI patterns. You see on the weekly, we've kind of had a zero line reject in the middle there, and we're now back above the 100 mark. Yeah, I mean, there is a bit of bearish divergences here. The monthly CCI for the first time in the history of this token is crossing the minus 100 mark. That is bullish. If there wasn't a signal, then that is it. It's the first time it's done that. I would argue that if it crosses like that, then it's coming to kind of test some kind of trend line like that. Okay. That's what I would argue. And obviously look at the RSI. The RSI is looking really bullish. Look, the RSI is putting in let me maximize it. For that, it's putting in a higher low. RSI is putting in a higher low there on the monthly time frame. And what does that mean? Higher low on the monthly time frame, and on here you can see the price put in a lower low. That there is a higher low, that's a low low. You've got bullish absorption on the RSI. It's not showing on the CCI, but on the RSI we're seeing some bullish absorption happening as we speak. Holding that view up very nicely, and look at that value area high is holding a support. This is really nice, guys. Really nice. I'm potentially even more bullish now, just looking at the charts now. I'm feeling really confident about this being the bottom. That's kind of what we want. So I'm going to end that video. If you like it, then I appreciate if you could like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever you fancy. Obviously, subscribing is the most important for me because I'm trying to get my YouTube channel upgraded here in El Salvador, but I need another maybe 105 subs to hit my target of 1,000. So I think that is basically TRVL, and then the only other chart I want to look at is ETH and ETH BTC. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come back in about 5 minutes, get myself a drink, back in 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go on with that. Oh, what did I do? Oh, what did I do there? All right, give me 5 minutes. All right, I'm back. Yeehaw, says Meta his sickle success. Great. So with ETH, what is this shit? Let's get rid of this. These lines. Let's have a look at the monthly candle as well. Really bullish monthly candle. It's closing higher. Really bullish 2 monthly candle. Bullish weekly candle. Well, I would argue that that's potentially bullish because you're putting in a higher low like that. You've got really nice volume on the sell, but we're not really closing anywhere lower than the previous range, previous candle body. So potentially we could go up. It doesn't mean it's going to shoot up, but it could. Yeah, it's looking okay, isn't it? It's not looking terrible. That monthly candle is really nice. Really nice monthly candle there. I think it's possible we go up again, huh? Just FYI. How it happens, I don't know. Could we go down and then up? It's possible. Could you do that? I'll keep an eye on it. Let's have a look at ETH BTC. The monthly candle on ETH BTC. Strong bullish continuation candle. That's a really, really fucking strong candle there. The weekly's nice. Just simply because it comes and it just kind of hits there and there's a nice buying tail off that weekly. It's a hammer, so it could be into resistance, but it also could be looking for continuation off that red weekly candle that's forming this week. So yeah, I think this is looking potentially good for another push up on ETH BTC. I'm quite optimistic about ETH BTC going up again. And I was thinking about doing an alt season video. I was thinking about it, but as time has passed, I realized I'm getting more and more exhausted. I didn't sleep last night, and here I am streaming. So this 2 monthly candle BTC dominance is bearish, engulfing, extremely bearish, increasing volume, really bearish on BTC. It's a 2-month candle, but it's a really bearish 2-month candle. We're closing potentially underneath the golden pocket, reversing all of this volume back under, almost back under 58%. It's really bearish. So potentially we're looking for continuation to the downside. That's probably what I expect to happen. The 3 monthly candle is coming to the lows. Yeah, that's looking really bearish. The 2 monthly is looking bearish. The 3 monthly is looking bearish. This monthly is just looking bearish. It's all looking bearish. The weekly, oh my God, that's just not pleasant, is it? It doesn't look good. That looks really bearish, that weekly candle. It's not some kind of inverse hammer or dragonfly doji or whatever, evening star doji. It's just a weak tail. It was bought up, but it wasn't bought up high enough, and it was just sold right back into it. It's a really weak candle for the bulls. And yeah, it's looking pretty weak for the bulls, for the BTC bulls here. So I'm quite optimistic. Look, that's a really nice clean break of that trend line. It's the first time we've had that. Look at that trend line. That's a really nice break. We broke down. It looks like we're breaking down here, doesn't it? and it's a pretty strong break to the downside. The last time we had a strong break to the downside, we got 5 red BTC dominance months in a row. So potentially we're looking for another red, just to bottom out here. Red, that will be September, October, November. That will be target to bottom out by the end of November on BTC dominance. That would bring us, that would mimic these 5 red candles here. We haven't had another time period where we had 5 red candles. That was the only time. And I wonder if we have begun that move now to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles. That would be like bam, 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 like all the way down. So let's just see. I'm quite interested to see how that can play out, but it's looking really bearish, isn't it? It's looking really bearish. What else do I want to quickly have a look at? Let's have a look at the DXY here. Yeah, that's looking bearish as well on the monthly time frame. Look at the total cap. Yeah, I mean, you could get a reversal on that doji, but you could also get continuation to the upside. And that's looking quite bullish. Total 2 if it closes higher. And again, total 3, a little less than total 2, but we haven't taken out the all-time high yet. So this is quite promising for all season, potentially. Another month, another bullish September, potentially. That looks like it's trying to close higher. That's closing higher. Yeah, it's all looking bullish. I think the whole thing is looking bullish. So I'm quite optimistic about higher prices. Okay. That's kind of alt season kind of analysis. Just quickly having a look at the surf. Yeah, it could break up. I'm not crazy fond of Slurf anymore, but it does look like it's broken that initial trend line and it could go up to the next one. That would be potentially a 45% increase in value to the next resistance level on Slurf. It's kind of gone sideways since we broke that inner trend line, but we are kind of showing some strength here by kind of going sideways and not down and holding this point of control as support. But there's not much demand in this token. You see the volume is pretty shit. It'd be better to buy TRVL for sure. USTD DTD. Well, look, we kind of reacted off the point of control a little bit, but if this closes lower than the previous week high, then this actually is bearish if it does. And that monthly candle is starting to look potentially bearish just because it's a green candle. It kind of nicely closes underneath that previous green lower wick, the bottom of that wick. That kind of shows that you've kind of come back into resistance, held it, and maybe we go down. We've also washed this point of control. So we've taken a lot of the kind of liquidity from that area. Potentially we're looking for a drop down here on USTD dominance, potentially. Gold against the dollar. Oh, God, that looks bearish, doesn't it? Looks bearish. Look, it closes higher, but it's bullish engulfing, but it's kind of weak. Where is gold against Bitcoin? That's what I wanted to have a look. Yeah, I mean, look, if it closes lower from, yeah, if it closes lower than the previous month low high, then that could reverse to go right back down. All right, so talk of the chart of the week or token of the week is always is going to be my beloved TRVL. I'm here in El Salvador, just doing stuff for D-Travel, just trying to expand the D-Travel network. And I feel like we're getting a reflection of increase in value in the price because of the work I'm doing. People are noticing, and the videos continue to go up on my X page. I posted a video yesterday. That's quite a good video. If you want to watch it, I put subtitles here. It's 4 minutes. In case you don't know, you can watch what I've been doing in El Salvador. And I posted the picture, which was happily re-shared by the D-Travel DAO page. You see that? That's me. And we're onboarding properties, listings in El Salvador. Look at that, 38 likes, 795 views, 2 retweets. I think that's pretty good. Like, we can see that there's activity. Can't you? You can see that we're starting to pick up some activity. We're creating a real grassroots movement in El Salvador, Central South America. People who believe in crypto, in decentralized travel, in cutting out the middleman, in avoiding intermediaries who overcharge and underperform in terms of their ability or desire to protect their hosts from travelers or their travelers from hosts, either way. And what decentralized travel will enable people to do is it will enable people to travel and be responsible for their own travel, for their own properties, and it empowers people to be in control of their own destiny, and it's cheaper. And that's the main thing. And so in the future, you're going to get a situation where people will look for cheaper prices and they'll search on AI or whatever, ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will itself go and have a look at the D-Travel traveler app, and then it will find you the cheapest one based on your research criteria. That's probably what will happen in the future. And right now you can easily go and book apartments across London, pay in fiat, pay in crypto. Every link here will send you to a direct booking site. And from there you can contact the hosts, the operators, and you can talk to them before you book. There's no censorship. There's no restriction in the sense that you can't not say anything. You say what you want as long as it's polite. And here you can see the contact options. Here they've got an email, just an email. And again, you can go and have a look at this. There's a little studio. They've got a bath in the studio. That's quite cute. Don't know where it is. Somewhere in London. £41 per night. It's in South Shields. It's not in London, is it? It's in Manchester. It's near Manchester. All right. So if you're interested about D-Travel or TRVL, go and have a look at the documentation, the roadmap, etc., and sign up. And then you're very much welcome. Welcome everyone. I'm going to have another quick look at BTC just to go back to it to see if anything interesting has happened. I went into a little bit of depth, but I've kind of plateaued in my energy levels. Literally just right now, I'm just thinking about going to have a little snooze. Well, we're back above that high volume node, so as long as we hold that, that's potentially a sign of strength, potentially. And the way you kind of long signs of strength is you don't want it to go back underneath the high volume node. You want it to hold the support, which is what it could be doing. So you could be in for right up to the edge of that trend line. So you could be in for 1 to 4 trade, just as long, and this is the thing, as long as that pivot low holds, then you could be in for that. But obviously if it doesn't, then you're taking the lows and then still doing that. Okay, so potentially there could be something going on here, but we are coming into some kind of slanted resistance, but we are above that high volume node. So there's a lot of kind of different things happening here, and ultimately what you really wanted to do is buy off support rather than to try and somehow gamble into resistance, which is what you'd be doing right now. But if you wouldn't expect, if this wanted to go up, it wouldn't take out those lows. But there is a CME gap all the way down here at the daily level. So the reality is it's possible that we do go down, hit the CME gap at month close, go down first, hit the gap, maybe the lows, bam, take out the lows, swing failure, there's your long. That really becomes a better long. Just wait for the reaction, and you could potentially short down to the CME gap with a clean invalidation too. And here you see what you really want to see is the lows here taken, reaction off the swing failure, CME gap, daily level, and then we have a chance to break this pattern to the upside. Ideally, you want to take out these pivots, so it's like a liquidity run to the downside before we snap up to the upside. So anyway, that's kind of some things. Bitcoin, TRVL, ETH BTC, very short stream. It's 1 hour. And so I hope that will be good for most people. They don't get bored and they can just come and just have a little quick crypto analysis. I used to do so many more coins. There used to be so many more requests. And naturally, if you have a request, then come and talk to me and tell me. But right now, I'm probably going to go. I'm not crazy. I don't have crazy energy right now. So, oh wow, Cray pumped all the way up to there. Wow. 22nd of August. That was a really nice pump on Cray. It went 150% and it's been sold into. Amazing, huh? So it's a really erratic price action, but it did pump. Anything else interesting here? Oh, look at that. That's pumped up. All right. I don't think there's anything more interesting. So I'm going to call it an end to the stream. There's been a few people watching. Thanks for joining me, RH. Metahistical Success, and anyone else been watching me hasn't said hi. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, then just please like, subscribe, share on YouTube, on my X profile. Comment if you want me to look at anything for you. And I will stream again on Tuesday. I'm going to be doing TRVL, Bitcoin again, and I'll kind of contemplate something else to stream. I probably need to do a full kind of chart analysis on a token that I haven't reanalyzed in a while first. And until then, I'm just going to kind of leave you with my favorite chart, TRVL. And now we're looking to move to 2 cents for sure. Probably 2 cents for sure. That's kind of your kind of short-term target for the next month, I would say. But why not a fucking God candle to 9 cents? That's kind of what we want. Or maybe it'll go up all the way to there first. Who knows? Like, we have to kind of see how the price action is on slightly lower time frames and look at the volume, etc. All right, so that's my stream for today. That's my stream for Sunday, the weekend. I'm going to cut some videos in a sec and then post them in case you missed it. You can just go to your relevant section. It's Bitcoin, TRVL, and maybe I can do a video on alt season, a short one. All right, have a wonderful Sunday. I love you. Come and join me. Come and hang out with me. I appreciate that. And I'll see you again on Tuesday. Until then, goodbye. Thank you and goodbye.